Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel. Thank you for watching. Hey, if it's your birthday, I want to wish you a very special happy birthday. Now you might notice things are a little bit different with the image and the sound in this one. Trying something a little bit different with my DSLR. If it works out, I'll use this more on ETCG1. Also incorporated into some of my Eric the Car Guy videos as well. So let's get on to the topic at hand, and that actually comes from Twitter today. A viewer asked me about my opinion on the proliferation of electric vehicles into our fleet and how that would affect the independent shops that are out there. Good question, and I can give my opinion, which is what I do on this channel. It's my channel after all. Now going back in the history of automobiles, actually it was sort of a three-way tie between it could have been steam powered, it could have been electric, and it could have been gasoline engines. I believe it was the discovery of oil in Texas that made that the most economically viable form of automobile at the time. So right around the turn of the last century, that sort of pushed things in the direction of going with internal combustion. However, over time we've discovered that that is harmful to the environment. Also, that's a limited natural resource. It's not always going to be around, so eventually it's going to run out. And we'll have to come up with another means of powering our vehicles. Well, that is happening right now in the form of electric and also hybrid vehicles. And I'd say because of the hybrid aspect of things, I think that many technicians that are working out there in the independent shops, and they've always had to deal with changes over the years. I mean, cars initially didn't have things like power steering or air conditioning or power brakes. You know, those are things that came in at fuel injection. Those are things that came in over time. So we've always been evolving as far as independent mechanics in the repair world. So because of that, I don't really think that we'll be going away because of electric vehicles. In fact, I think you might see new cottage industries sprouting up because of it. Now, there'll still be internal combustion engines on the road, I think, for some time to come. If you were to get into it now, if you were to just open up a repair shop now, I think that you would be able to go for several years before it would be like, oh no, what do? There's only electric vehicles on the road. In fact, I'm not even sure that it will ever get to that point where it'll be strictly electric vehicles on the road. I think, as I've said in other videos, that we'll start moving towards a different form of vehicle ownership, let's say. Perhaps instead of owning a vehicle outright, you might pay for the service. Similar to, I'm trying to think of my Adobe software is probably the easiest way to go to it. I used Adobe Premiere to edit. And those of you that are familiar with Adobe, they've sort of switched from the model of selling you a piece of software to a monthly subscription to the always up-to-date software. So in other words, rather than going out one year and purchasing the latest version of, say, Photoshop, and then next year purchasing the next version of Photoshop, what they have now is a monthly subscription that basically says that, okay, Photoshop is always going to be the latest version, but you're going to pay this monthly fee. And I think vehicle ownership will also move towards this direction in that you will, subscribe to a service that provides you with a vehicle. And I've talked about this in other videos, and I'll link that. There's still going to be a need for people to service those vehicles. So once again, I don't think that's really going away. And it's really incumbent upon the shops and the technicians to stay abreast of the technology that happens and as it happens. In fact, some of them are being left behind now, but I think this also depends on where you're located, because in smaller towns and areas like that, I think that the corner automotive shop is something that's going to be around for a while, because I think people in those areas are a bit slower to change. And also I think in those situations, electric vehicles, 100% electric vehicles, might not be as viable a transportation choice in those areas. And I say this because, I come from a rural area, and I do remember, like, if you wanted to go to the grocery store, it was a good half-hour drive away, or just anywhere. You're driving to the next town over to get somewhere. Also, it was in western New York, so there's quite a bit of snow and things in the winter. And honestly, I'm not sure how that has an effect on electric vehicles, but that's a topic for another video altogether. My point is, as far as when you're living out in rural areas, at least at this time, I don't see, I've seen one Chevy Volt. I'm not going to say I haven't seen any electric vehicles in that area. I saw one Chevy Volt. So somebody was very forward thinking in that regard. And I suppose it could work, to a limited extent, but I think most people stick with internal combustion because it's what they know. It's tried, true technology. Also, it's affordable. I mean, right now electric vehicles are kind of pricey. I'm thinking of the Teslas. Not many people can afford those, as cool as they are, but they're working to bring the cost of electric vehicle ownership down. With that, I think will come more education in the technician sector about that. In fact, I think at this point, with anyone going to school, they at least get some education as far as hybrids are concerned. And hybrids really aren't that far away from what a full electric vehicle might be. You know, I realize there's differences and things like that, but you know, the principles, using the electric motors for propulsion, regenerative braking, all that stuff, I think it also falls under that umbrella. So what I'm saying is, in my opinion, I'm going to wrap this up. In my opinion, I don't think that the corner shop, the repair shop, the local repair shop is going to go away just because of electric vehicles. I think that they will adapt. I think you may find shops that specifically are geared towards electric vehicles and electric vehicle repair also. And in fact, you know, that's a tremendous opportunity for somebody that wants to get into that. You know, I don't think it's going to be a 100% electric fleet. Like I said, I think there will be other ways around that, other forms of transportation. Like I said, I talked about those in other vehicles. That stuff will be linked down in the description, along with any additional information for you. So please check there if you have questions about this video. If you have automotive questions not covered in this video, I ask that you head over to ericthecarguy.com. There'll be a link to that posted in the description for you to make it easy. Outside of that, be safe, have fun, stay dirty. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to your comments on this topic. See you next time.